Well, guys, it's another day, and I've gotten a little bit more progress done. As you can see, one ring is just about freed. The other one I haven't quite started on yet. And I used the saw, my Swiss Army knife, to kind of cut away the sections here. And I think I'm at the point now. I'm going to go ahead and saw this off. I like leaving that on there because it was a good steady base to hold on to. But now that I'm working on that ring, I don't think I'm going to need it anymore. So I'm going to take the Swiss Army knife saw, trim this loose right there, and then begin carving out that second ring. And we will see how it goes. All right, Swiss Army knife saw, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this one off. I think I've got it right where I want it. Here we go. Smooth. Oh, just in case anybody was wondering, I didn't necessarily design this glove as my carving glove like this. My dog chewed it, so but it actually works out really good, so I've left it like that. All right, let's trim off the excess on top. There and here. Uh, I've carved rings before, but they were always at that angle. So I was using the natural growth rings for strength. This one I couldn't do that. So I'm a little skittish that something could snap. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, what I'm going to do is make a little cut right there you see on top of the ring. Just using the point and my thumb for pressure. Just pull that across, switch sides, pull that across. Kind of pointing the tip up just a little bit because I want to get the crest of that circle, the ring, make it as round as possible. So switch that way, switch this way. And now I need to do the opposite, so 180. There we go. Okay, so I got lines on both of those now. And I'm just going to start carving away. All right. I'm going to also carve along the length of the ring here because I don't want to weaken the ring I've already gotten free. I want to make sure I don't cut into that at all. Flip it over. Other side. Cool. There and there. The part right now that I'm most nervous about is the inside of that ring to separate it from this ring. And that's going to be tricky because all the grain is going that direction. So when I try to separate this from that, it might take the entire top section of that ring with it. So I want to make sure I get everything removed as much as I can and then decide where the next cuts have to be. So for a while, I'm going to work on this. Here's where I'm at right now. You guys saw this part earlier. And right now, I'm working on this section here, trying to figure out how to release this other ring, which is tricky. As you guys can see, there we go. As you guys can see, so there's the back of the knife, and there's the gap that I've got to play with. So very, very tight quarters. So what I'm doing is just a little bit at a time, little cuts, little scrapes on both sides as more space becomes open. It's funny, you'll cut on one area until it's like, well, I can't do anything else with this, and then come to find out, the opposite of the area where you were cutting has opened up a little bit from something you've done. So a lot of times I spend on small stuff like this just turning the little project around in my hands until I see that open spot that, okay, yeah, I can remove this. And I do it till I can't, then I find the next spot and remove there. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, this is where we're at right now. So this top is free. So is this one. The only place these are connected is right there. That center section. So what I've got to do, since the only part of the knife that will actually reach that is the very tip, from tip pointing this way, also with tip pointing that way, I've got to cut these little strands. So I'll work one direction, let's say this direction, and I'll start cutting those strands as much as I can reach. And then over here, I can do the same thing. I might try to do those both directions. We'll see to see which way is more effective. But once those two are cut, then flip it and start working on this side. And the same over here. I, I hope this makes sense, guys. Basically, what I'm trying to do is where these are connected, because the grain is going this way, I'm trying to separate that as much as possible while retaining the strength and the size of the rings. And at some point, I hope I can separate them. Once I do that, then I can kind of trim the rings down to a nice uniform size. But for right now, it's just going to be a matter of a little bit at a time, and you can guys kind of see where I've been working on it, separating the two rings right there and there. Okay, here we go. Yeah, good now. Supporting this and that. Ooh, there goes a couple pops. All right. Another pop. Okay. There's one little thread that still seems to be holding. Yeah, I got it. That was a little touch and go there for a moment. All right, cool. So the two rings have been separated. Now it's just a matter of cleaning everything up and getting it where it's get rid of all the nasty cut up parts, and where they begin to look more like uh, actual rings. But yeah, we're there. Here's where I'm at today. This is everything I've used so far to make this little dual set of rings. Got sandpaper. I used the saw blade on summer knife, pencil, the kukri. This all came from this piece or this limb of eucalyptus. I made this little sander uh, shape, and the reason I did is because I can get the circle on the inside. Came up with that this morning, and just put sandpaper on the outside. It helps round everything out. And guys, here is where we're at. Looking definitely ring shaped. I'm going to thin it up a bit more and kind of figure out what the final dimensions are. But right now it's sanded at 80 grit and looking good. All right, guys, it's been a couple hours. Kind of got lost in the work. What I've done, I sealed the wood with the super glue and then sanded that back down. That way, every crevice and crack in those two rings is sealed, and I don't got to worry about it, snapping anytime soon. It's protected. I'll probably still put a different finish on the outside later on, but I wanted that where, at least for right now, is as stable as possible. Then, as you guys can see, wood burner and pencil. And I will show you what I did. Okay, so these two pieces came out of this limb just like that. All right. So if you line up the cedar wood and give it a little tilt, and put their names. I think that turned out pretty cool. Um, Next step for me is to round the insides out just a little bit, let them flare out, kind of in a semi-round position. But after that is done, I think the last step for these will be, well, for hers, I'm going to put a small stone in right there and seal them both with like probably the spray acrylic, and then make a little leather pouch for them to have these in, keep them protected. But yeah, it's coming along.